Hey, how you doing, everybody? This is Matt from the Matt Night Show, and in this video, we're going to talk about something that people tend to not really talk about, and that's the fact that the world is watching. They're watching President Trump. They're watching the United States, and they are confused. Right? We're going to start with Europe. So, what is the news saying about America and Europe? We're going to start with BBC, right, which is one of the biggest news outlets in Europe. It's in Great Britain. It's one of the biggest ones. What are they saying? So run the clip, Josh.
The bottom line is the reason that Trump treats European leaders like this is because he thinks they're weak. And if we want that to stop happening, there's only one thing we need to do, which is to build up our own defenses, because in the end, he is not going to respect people who can't defend themselves.
The old idea of an international order with countries like America respecting it is over. Donald Trump is into strong men and spheres of influence, and international law is something he doesn't really care.
Think about that. So Europe is saying, hey, you know what? He's trying to push us around because he thinks that we're weak and we have to stand up against him. So that's how they're viewing Trump. Trump likes strong men. He likes to project power, and we have to fight against that because America is no longer this place of peace and international diplomacy. It's changing. Trump is changing that. That's what Europe is saying. Now think about it. Another thing or another place that we've been getting a lot of pushback from is Canada. Remember when Trump said, hey, Canada should be part of the United States, right? And the tariffs we put on them, all the crazy things. So what is Canada, what are Canadians saying about America? And we're going to start with CBC, which is one of the biggest news outlets in Canada. So how are they reporting on the Trump administration and what's happening in America? Let's run a clip.
His 11th province. Some Minnesotans are calling for the U.S. state to become a part of this country.
How about since Trump dislikes Minnesota so bad and we're so out of control, let's join Canada.
Former professional wrestler and Minnesota State Governor Jesse Ventura recently pitched the idea. Some Minnesotans are angry over the deployment of federal immigration agents in the state. Ventura, now a political commentator, made the comments on a podcast. Others have followed suit. One resident recently wrote to a publication suggesting the state join Canada and the new province be named Manitoba. Brian Clapper, a Minnesota real estate agent, put out a social media video a year ago stating why his state should be adopted by Canada.
So you see that? The rest of the world is so confused, right? All the stuff that's happening in Minnesota, we think, like, yeah, we're sticking it to them. They're sticking it to them. Even Canada is like, man, this is bad. And even people in Minnesota are like, dang, do I really want to be a part of America? Now, I will be honest with you. I think America and the idea of America is good. I just think that we have some actors right now who are really doing the best thing they can to mess up democracy or whatever little bit of democracy we had left, right? They're trying to gut it. And this is also what's interesting. We also talk about Russia. Trump has so much respect for Putin. But how does Russia and how does Putin really view Trump? Let's run a clip. Run a clip, Josh.
Leaders are doing their best to avoid any public spat with President Trump. It could be costly, it certainly could be embarrassing. Vladimir Putin and the Kremlin are taking a different approach. They seem to be pushing President Trump's buttons, particularly when it comes to Ukraine, and not shying away from insults, not shying away from any public spat with him. President Trump has expressed surprise and frustration that Vladimir Putin has not only rebuffed repeated attempts by the Trump administration to broker a ceasefire in Ukraine, not only has he failed to go to meetings, he's been intensifying his attacks against Ukraine, particularly drone and missile attacks against Kyiv and other locations. When President Trump said that he thinks that Vladimir Putin is behaving in a crazy way and that if this continues, there will be bad consequences for Russia, Russian state media, the Kremlin, former Russian officials close to Vladimir Putin have all pushed back and done so in a bit of a mocking way, with a Kremlin spokesman saying that President Trump seems to be suffering from emotional overload. And analysts that I've spoken to believe that Vladimir Putin's goal here might be to try and frustrate President Trump enough that
Sounds a lot like Taco Trump, right? Even Russia, not just the finance bros, look at Trump as Taco, right? Trump always chickens out, right? So I just want to let Americans know the world is watching, and I want to let the rest of the world know too. we see the same things that you're seeing. And a lot of us, despite what you may think from the news outlets here, a lot of us agree. And a lot of us don't like a lot of this chaos, man. We want diplomacy across the world. We don't want to be in fights with Canada, or we don't want to be in conflicts with Europe. We want to travel there. We want to experience the cultures there, right? So I just wanted to say that. And make sure you do those 3 things we always ask. And that's share, like, and subscribe. Take care, everybody.